Namaste, everyone. Today, the goal is to have a connection with a spirit guide who will help you get to the point where you're comfortable crossing the veil. And so I just want to take a few minutes, and I want to mention that toward the end of this, you're probably going to want some type of a notebook or a journal to take notes, because whatever that you're receiving in terms of your first impressions, you're probably going to want to capture that somehow and remember that. I want to just take a moment and kind of describe what's going to happen, and then we're really going to trust whatever comes and kind of unfolds from there. So first of all, I need a drink of water, so give me a moment. And I also recommend that you hydrate, because that's important. And if your shoes aren't removed, you're going to want to do that. We are going to be walking in two different worlds today. And so for those of you who haven't had that experience, it just basically means that you're aware that you're in the room that you're in, and you're also aware that you're somewhere else. That's really what it means to walk two different worlds. And I feel like everybody who's part of this, you've already had that experience in one form or another, whether or not it was I'm dreaming and I'm aware that I'm awake and I'm dreaming, or you're going through some type of a guided meditation. But today we're really going to move into that. So in other words, we're going to move beyond the world of imagination, and we're really going to open up into that realm of intuition today. Each of you are going to be assigned, let's call a master spirit guide, who's going to assist you in helping you prepare to cross the veil. So there's a couple of you I know who have worked with me privately, and I served as that guide for you. I helped you learn how to cross the veil. I was that guide for you when it came time to crossing, let's call it the bridge. And because I have that ability and I'm attuned to those vibrations, I can do it. But each of you has been assigned a specific spirit guide to help you cross the veil. And it's pretty neat. This is a specific being who is able to be in both worlds. They're able to be in the physical world and in the spiritual world, much like myself, only they're on the other side, which is pretty neat. And it may be for you something completely different than you can even fathom. For some of you, it may be an animal, it may be a bird, it may be a reptile, it may be an angelic being, it may be just something that you're perceiving or feeling in terms of a sound. It could be something in nature, one of the elements. It could be fairy-like. So rather than say, oh, I know my main guide is, and you have a name and you already have met him or her, etc., really I'd like for you to detach from that expectation. These are all beings who have been specifically attuned for this purpose of helping prepare you to cross the veil come the next module. So today it's going to be an introduction where you're going to really be introduced to this being and become familiar, and you'll have some soul practice in between now and the next session to really get comfortable. That being said, I just want to spend a few minutes on talking about kind of some of the tools that you've learned and how they're going to come into play as we go into the soul journey today. So all of you by now have gotten to the point where you're trusting and you're comfortable with your spiritual yes and your spiritual no, at least one or the other, where you are really aware of what that means for you. Now, when it comes to connecting with a spirit guide, such as the one that you're going to be introduced to today, there is communication that can occur, and when you're communicating, connecting, knowing, depending on how you receive information, it's going to occur in such a way that you're going to want to use that spiritual tool to validate and affirm and catch yourself. And if you catch yourself and say, you know, am I in my head in a point of questioning, or am I in my center? And you all know what that means now, that deeper, more resonant, truthful place. Make sure that as you're asking that you're coming from that place. That's really, really important, which is why we've had you practice. So as an example, when you connect with your guide today, if, for example, you receive a flash and it's a strong knowingness, or maybe you have a vision, or maybe it's a certain memory that pops through something, and you just have a sense that it is male, it is a male energy, what you would do is you would pause for a moment and you would go within and you would ask higher self, your truth, your spiritual awareness, which is what you've been practicing for the last month, right? You're going to go within, show me a solid sign for yes, that my spirit guide is male. And you're going to notice. And again, as you notice, notice from your center, notice from that inner depth within you. So you're going to do this, and now if you get hung up in any way, remember the reset tools that we talked about. Go back to the clear, where you clear your field, you know that it's only you. That's a nice thing. You can just say clear to yourself. It clears out all expectation, it resets everything, and it's also telling that guide, that being, stay out of my space for just a moment so that I can get an assessment of my own energy. And so you just say clear, and then you can go back to asking yourself a question that you already know, which I always have suggested that you want to use your first name because it's a good indicator. And then you find your yes again, and then ask that being to come back into your space. And you're going to practice in different ways. So there's going to come a point where you're going to start to get different impressions. And rather than script this, and kind of give you a checklist, let's say, and say, oh, I want you to ask these specific questions. This is really going to be about you following your intuition in the moment, going with first impressions. Very, very important. The first impressions that you receive are going to be very, very crucial here in terms of allowing your intuition to strengthen and in terms of you fully trusting yourself. So again, if it feels like masculine energy, feminine energy, if it feels more angelic, if it feels more like an animal, if it feels like it could be you know, a small child, whatever you're picking up on, use your spiritual tool, use, and I'm going to call it your intuitive tools. Later on, as we go into the session, you'll hear me say intuitive tools. When you hear me say that, it just means use what you've been taught. Use your clear method, use your reset method, use your spiritual yes, your spiritual no, depending on where each of us are in the experience will depend. Now, each of you are going to be journeying at your own pace, listening to the replay, watching the replay later on, weeks from now, months from now, years from now. We are all in sacred circle together spiritually. And so just get a sense for the massiveness of this. So all space-time is really an illusion. And so just take a moment and just feel into the energies of the sacred circle for a moment. And just say hello to all of those beautiful souls. However that feels good to you, I like to say namaste. And now I'm just going to take a moment because I felt like this was appropriate that you see me do this today. I'm just going to take a moment and light a little bit of sage and sweetgrass to really prepare the space. Now you might imagine that as this sage and sweetgrass is coming in, that it is cleansing you from head to toe, all the way down, back up again and around. And so just call in the energies of the clearing, of the sage, of the smudging, which has some beautiful medicinal qualities that even scientists have found definitely has been useful in many ways. Okay, good. Now, as you set your intention, I'd like for you to hold in your hearts and in your core the intention that you will be matched with your chosen spirit guide who is here specifically for you to help you prepare in crossing the veil. This being walks in both worlds. They are much like a bridge. They are able to come into the physical world and also be part of the spiritual world, yet they live on the spiritual side. So as you're setting that intention, just take a few moments and begin to notice your breath. And begin to send gratitude in all directions. And so as you send appreciation and gratitude in front of you and behind you and to the left of you and to the right of you and above you and below you, which shamans would sometimes say would be the north and the south and the west and the east and the upper worlds and the underworlds. We also have us to send gratitude to, which is our core, our essence, our middle. And so take a moment and send thanks to yourself as well. Now, in a moment, we're going to begin focusing on the body and on the breath. And then there will come a point where you will begin to feel yourself moving into the energies of the spirit guide who's been specifically assigned to you for this intention, who is a master who has done this many times before. And so as this occurs, we'll move into a space of what you'll feel like it's going to feel like silence in some ways, because I won't be talking anymore. And this is your opportunity to use your intuition and use your tools. Again, go with your first impression. Depending on where you are in the world, and depending on what your day was like today, you might be holding certain tensions, certain expectation, certain questions. This is the time to begin to release, to trust and let go. It's now time to trust and allow your intuition to fully lead you and guide you. You prepared for this, you're ready for this, so let's begin. And bring your awareness into your physical body. Your body is a beautiful vessel for the soul. I'd like for you to begin by gently, very gently, rotating your neck. Just becoming aware of any areas that you're holding tension. And any areas that you're feeling, oh yeah, I'm a little tight there, hold it for just a moment, 2 or 3 seconds, and then take a breath in. And as you exhale, release, relax, let go, Move on to another area until you feel some tension and resistance. Take a breath in. Release, relax, let go. Let's take a few minutes with this. Gently inhaling upon the release. Always being sure that you're breathing from your center, from your core. Continuing to set your intention, to trust, to open, to receive, so that as you meet your spirit guide who comes in light, who comes in love, you openly can learn, removing any resistances in the neck. And just allow that neck to begin to move. And there's going to come a point where as you're moving that neck, you're going to feel what I call flow. You'll feel it beginning to move down into the head and into the neck. It will just come naturally to you, where it almost feels like your head is moving on its own. And this is where I'd like for you to be. And when you feel that, begin to breathe from your center. It will happen naturally and gently. And as you move into your intention, I'd like for you to continue to notice if there's any resistances regarding this journey, regarding your ability, regarding your confidence, regarding, if there's anything at all coming up. Maybe did I practice enough, or did I get it right, or am I ready? Anything like that. If you're holding any tensions physically in your body, maybe not even related to this course, something that happened this week or something that happened in your day, just begin to move with the flow using your head. Maybe you're noticing some tension in your shoulders. If so, begin to rock the shoulders, glide the shoulders, move the shoulders. You might even lift the shoulders, tense them for a few seconds. And then on the exhale, release, relax, let go. Want to do the same thing with your upper back, the middle part of your back, the lower back. You might even arch the back and then release, relax, let go. You can do the same thing by tightening the tailbone, the buttocks. You're going to feel it go all the way up the spine, and then on the exhale, release, relax, let go. Remember, we need the vessel to travel. So we want the vessel to be loose, to be limp, to be relaxed. Some of you may even feel guided to stand up, to begin to stretch a bit. Go gentle, go easy. We're going to take another 1 or 2 minutes with this. So go in your own time, in your own pace. Noticing any tension in your shoulders, in your back, in your tailbone, even being aware if there's tension in your legs, in your wrists, in your fingers, your elbows, loosening, relaxing, letting go. Still breathing from your center, allowing the energy from your head and from your neck, which is nice and primed and loosened now, to begin to move down through the body, through the neck, through the shoulders. It's going to feel like unkinking in many ways. And that's good. Taking another 30 seconds or so. Connecting with flow. Trusting and open to receive. And now if you're not seated yet, I'd like for you to take a seat and spine straight. And your feet and your toes, just notice them. You can wiggle them a bit. Just want you to imagine that you're bringing some warmth from the earth into your toes. You're bringing that electromagnetic energy from Mother Earth up through the soles of your feet. Allowing your brilliant inner light to connect with those feminine energies, remaining aware, yet surrendering to your truth. Fully trusting in your inner divinity. Might even squeeze those toes a bit and hug the earth for just a moment, and then relax. Breathing from the center. As you allow this divine light to slowly begin to move up through the feet and into the ankles. As this happens, you might feel your head or your neck continuing to move, welcoming the energy. Breathing from the center, allowing this radiant warmth from Mother Earth to slowly spread into the legs, up the tailbone. Breathing it in, into the lungs, feeling it in the stomach and the chest, wrapping around the rib cage, into the neck and the shoulders, down the arms, into the wrists, the palms, and through the fingertips. Some of you are feeling this, some of you it's more of a knowing. Trust what's coming in for you. Just notice and sense the goodness of this relaxation as you allow this beautiful nurturing, those feminine energies from Mother Earth to continue to move up through the shoulders. You may even rock or move and allow them in, up through the neck, and into the face, gently greeting the top of your head. Now take some nice big breaths. Just be aware of that feminine energy flow coming through the soles of your feet, through your fingertips, through your tailbone, coursing out through the top of your head. Now, using your beautiful imagination, opening up that beautiful creative center, I'd like for you to imagine that your maker, your God, your source, your creator, is gently kissing you now on the forehead, on your third eye. And as this kiss, this beautiful love disperses, it's much like a radiant sunshine beam moving through the top of the crown, slowly through the face, down through the jaw, into the throat, neck and shoulders, feeling this beautiful, brilliant beam, masculine energies, traveling down through the arms, into the wrists, into the palms, through the fingertips. You and the light are one. The light expands from within and circles and moves through the body, down through that beautiful, beautiful chest, into the stomach, the abdomen, into the core, into the hips, down through the legs, feeling it all throughout your auric energy fields, beneath your feet, that beautiful dance of earth energy, sky energy, spiraling now fully and completely. Feeling your feet. Imagine now that your feet begin to walk down a path. As your feet move and as you move into this sacred journey, remember to notice from your center. Notice what comes in as you casually begin to move on this trail. Go with your first impressions. Notice your feet. Notice if you're bare feet or what you may be wearing on your feet as you continue to breathe slowly, deeply, naturally. Walking at a nice, comfortable pace. Enjoying any sights or any smells, any sounds that might be coming in intuitively for you. Fully embodying the soul, becoming one with nature, one with the sky, one with the earth. As you feel yourself connected to this beautiful space, recognize that up ahead there's a natural downward slope that easily and safely descends. With my count of 10 to 1, continue to notice from your center, feeling with your legs and your feet, connecting to the earth in such a way that you can feel the soil, smell the earth, and 10, 9, 8, descending safely down that slope, and 7, 6, and 5, more and more relaxed. Breathing from your center, and 4, 3, 2, and 1, continuing to be aware of your path. Going with first impressions, noticing if you're surrounded by trees or shrubs, flowers, plants. Allowing your nose to bring in the sense of nature. Ears awakening to the sounds of the birds or the breeze, the rustling of the wind. The beautiful grasses swaying and dancing as you enjoy this pleasant walk in nature. Fully immersing yourself in all of its goodness. Descending deeper and deeper within you, allowing your higher self to continue to lead. As you breathe in this experience, notice that somewhere in the near distance, a water flows, inviting you toward it. A gentle stream. Following the stream. Feeling yourself being guided and moved into flow. Allowing the current of that flow to become one with you. Trusting that your soul is embodied, one with the earth and one with the sky, as you continue to move with flow. Breathing from your center. Noticing any sights or sounds or smells. Fully trusting whatever's coming in. As you move along this beautiful stream, feeling yourself vibrating with flow, traveling along on this path, you'll feel and notice a clearing. And in this clearing, you'll sense or see a bridge with plenty of room for you to cross when you are ready. For now, simply pause for a moment. Allow your attention to draw in all the senses of this space. Taking a moment to allow your attention to move upward and just ahead. Bring in a beautiful billowy cloud, soft and gentle, floating overhead just off in front of you. Allow it to trail forward, showing you the way as your feet confidently move ahead onto that bridge. And with each and every step, you feel a little lighter. You might even notice that you begin to bounce just a bit. And though at first you may wonder why this is, allow higher self to reveal and to help you realize that you're able to drift and to float and to hover, allowing your feet to easily uplift a little higher, a little lighter. And much like when the wind takes hold of a feather, you begin to float and drift safely and easily, bouncing a little higher, hovering now, floating, uplifting, lighter and lighter, higher and higher, drifting into that beautiful sky, sailing safely upward into that billowy cloud that openly welcomes you with softness, with peace, with grace. As I count from 1 to 3, feel those beautiful feet land gently in this sacred space, trusting your first impressions. And 1, 2, and 3. Continuing to breathe from your center. Take a moment and move your awareness to the right. As you do, breathe in deeply, setting your intentions to be fully open to receive. Moving your awareness now in your own time and in your own way to the left. Continuing to trust your higher self to lead. Continuing to breathe from the center, moving your awareness up ahead, where you'll soon sense a doorway or a portal. Feel your feet beginning to walk toward it. Recognizing that you innately know that as you move through it, as you move ahead, you meet your trusted teacher, your spirit guide assigned to you, specifically here to assist you in crossing the veil. Recognizing that this guide is here to connect with you, to help you feel and know and sense its presence, so that between now and a month from now, You'll have such a knowing and trusting relationship that this being will be able to assist you in crossing the veil. Using your first impressions now, move through that doorway, that portal, in such a way that this beautiful teacher can reveal its essence to you as you use your intuitive tools, trusting whatever comes in. Always noticing from your center. Always allowing it to come to you. Continuing to use first impressions, using your intuitive tools. One impression will build upon another, continuing to trust and move with flow. Recognizing that the intention is to introduce yourselves, to feel the difference between your energy and your guide's energy, to notice how they communicate, how they connect, how they present their light to you. And however the connection is coming in, for some it will be what feels like a hand. For others, you will be guided to simply touch. Some will be guided to ride specifically on the back of this being, whatever comes in for you. Allow this being to begin to carry you in such a way that you get a feel for movement with your guide. You get a feel for being led. Continue to trust. Remember to breathe and observe. Notice from your center. And take a moment and send gratitude. And as you do, and as you clear your field for just a moment, getting a new sense of yourself, the time has now come for you to send one last round of appreciation and any last messages to and from this guide. And take a moment and get a feel, get a sense, get a knowingness for how your guide would like to connect with you from this point forward. What ideally will fit into your routine, with the expectation that just as you practiced your intuitive tools, you will practice knowing, sensing, and feeling when this guide is near, what it feels like to allow this guide to lead you, and how you know the energies and the vibrations of this being. Some of you are already wondering if your connection is strong enough or correct, etc. Remember that you are not yet mastered. This is why you have a master spirit guide to help you show the way. Trust in the guidance of your spirit guide. Trust that the relationship that you have just formed will continue to strengthen and grow between now and the next module. Release your need to know. Relax into it. Surrender and let go. taking a moment now and sending some appreciation to yourself for having the courage and the soul desire and the trust. As I count backwards from 3 to 1, taking a moment to become fully present of your surroundings in the room that you are in. Taking your notebook and or your journal and beginning to write out anything that first came in. And 3, 2, and 1. As you write, remember it's not necessary to know or to understand. Simply go with your gut. Go with whatever first popped in. Trust. And those of you who are going back and listening to the recording, continue to journal. Continue to reflect. And it's just absolutely wonderful to know that all of you have done your inner work, that you practice, and that you've gotten yourself to this place where you're not only aware, but you dove into self-trust, and now you're accepting what it is that's coming in. So between now and our next module, I'd like for you to take whatever it is that you received and allow yourself to get to know this guide a little more. For some of you, use the 4 elements to connect with this guide in whatever way feels good to you and fully trust what's coming in. Remember, the goal is not to have a conversation with your guide. The guide's job is to guide you, to help you cross the veil. So just get a feel, practice. This is my energy. Allow the guide come in. This is the guide's energy. Clear. This is my energy. Allow the guide to come in. This is my guide's energy. This is me standing. And now this is me trusting my guide to carry me forward, to take my hand, to lead me forward. Clear. This is me. Now I'm in my head. Oops. Got to drop down into my center. Totally release, relax, let go. Okay, I'm ready. Guide takes you and begins to move. It's a matter of getting a feel for the energy and the vibration of your guide so that when it comes time to cross the veil next time around, you'll be fully ready and you can go, and you can do so in a way that you can fully trust and be open. And these beings have been matched to us specifically. Some of you know this innately already, and some of you are just remembering perhaps in this lifetime, depending on how close you've gotten in previous lifetimes. So good job, everybody. Have yourselves a beautiful day wherever you are. And thank you, thank you, thank you. This was a beautiful, beautiful circle, and so it is.